What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Guys, we are back in Europe with an interesting video I came across from the channel beneath the surface, and I'm gonna have their link in the description so you can check out more of their videos. But y'all know it's almost that time for me to visit Europe for the first time, and this is a shocking reality of moving to Europe. Of course, moving and visiting, gonna have two different experiences. Firstly, visiting, it obviously sparks something in you to even consider moving to another country. And we are here checking out the reality of how it really is to move, to make that move. I've done interviews, and I mean, me personally, just with interviews that I've done with different people, or Americans, or maybe somebody from another country moving to another country within within Europe, I would say, or moving from Europe to Australia. People have been happy and satisfied with their moves. So we finna see. Y'all hit that subscribe button and let's check this out.
As many of you know well already, we have been exploring Portugal the last few months as a potential place to call home. We visited for the first time last October upon the prompting of our older son Nathan. And after 10 days of hopping around the country, we thought, hey, this place is pretty cool. It's picturesque, full of lovely people, the food is pretty darn good, and It's generally very affordable. What happened next, looking back, was pretty crazy. We put our house on the market a short time later, sold it within a month, and embarked on our massive move out of the US. Simultaneously, we started the D7 visa process for Portugal, which requires, amongst a vast amount of paperwork, securing a lease for at least 1 year. I marvel now at our commitment to doing all this. I mean, I can understand selling your home and wanting to leave the country, but what we did essentially is put all our eggs in one basket and assume Portugal was it and that it held all the answers. Wow, what a gamble. But heck, at the time we were excited, and without giving it too much additional thought, we booked our tickets and headed straight to Europe.
Dang.
First, we made a quick stop in Paris to visit Nathan, and thoroughly loved spending a couple of weeks with him, supporting him with his new apartment project.
I've done it. I've done one of his video. I just seen Nathan's video. Actually, it might feature them. I just seen his video. Well, I didn't watch it, but I've seen it on the home screen of, I guess, the USA versus Europe type of stuff. But he has some good stuff. This is good. All right.
And thoroughly loved spending a couple of weeks with him, supporting him with his new apartment project. In fact, we so enjoyed our time there that we vowed to return and explore France a lot more. Not just because of him, but because it's another incredible country with so much to offer.
Sure.
There's actually a lot more to that I can't share right now, but which I promise will make it into future content. At any rate, by mid-May, we found ourselves finally settling into our new apartment in Coimbra. Pretty incredible, but also the beginning of a wild and crazy new chapter.
Already raining. I did Coimbra. Somebody sent me that. It's nice. It's nice out there.
That went something like this.
Exploring Europe.
First off, I just want to say that there's a huge difference between traveling as a tourist and being a resident who has actually lived in a place for a while. I know, entirely obvious statement, but somehow we create these fantasies when we first experience a place where we think, yeah, I could totally do this on an ongoing basis.
It's crazy, these people know their food. Oh my goodness. Like what?
Oh.
I love these things that you just don't see in the States. Just pure contrast right now.
You definitely don't see meat hanging like this. That's it. That's that dry aged meat right there.
Okay, let's go get some vegetables. It's time to eat healthy again. We're eating out all the time. I'm taken by the size
the cabbage.
of things. The size, the color. Wow.
It's only when we settle in that reality
fresh.
sets in. It's the only way that we can truly experience a place and know what's going to work for us and what isn't. So early on for us, Coimbra was, for the most part, new and exciting. The food, the pretty views, the super friendly people. And anytime adverse conditions or situations would arise, like something needing to be fixed or dealing with internet issues.
Trying to solve this freaking internet problem. Cannot find the link to the street. Super frustrating.
Oh, wow.
Need internet.
We were a bit more patient, more accommodating. That all began to change as time went on. As things started to repeat, both good and bad, the new normal became more and more solidified. And accordingly, our patience began to wear thin around those things that weren't working out so well.
So hold on. Would you say we're living large?
Well, I can understand that. I still remember. I just know, just hearing the stories of people when they make their first move. It's like when you move somewhere, it's almost like it does take time before you can before you feel like you've settled, before you feel like, all right, we're comfortable, you can take that big deep breath. Because I just know it's just something after something, one thing after another. And like, I haven't moved out the country, but just moving around, like, you don't really feel settled and really feel everything being normal to at least after a year or two. That's when everything just starts, that's the reality of everything just seeming comfortable at
when
that
the new
point.
normal has more cons than pros, well, that's when you start having a problem. The pros have to outweigh the cons if you're going to love a place. Now, of course, Coimbra was never meant to be permanent for us, but a temporary spot from which we could scout other areas of the country. However, as with any place, it left an impression on us. And if I can put it a different way, it was a real lesson in embracing discomfort.
Embracing discomfort.
The apartment in Coimbra itself is spacious, with a lot of light and an amazing
That
view.
is pretty nice.
It's in the old part of town, which has a lot of history and beauty to it. There are a few restaurants that we really love, and an amazing ice cream place that opened up nearby that we became addicted to. All that's fantastic. I always like to highlight the fact that the surroundings of a place matter as much as the place itself. You can be living in the loveliest home, but if you're not happy with the area where it's sitting, you'll always be somewhat disappointed, which is exactly what happened with us in Portland. In Coimbra, the noise was out of control at times. It is a university town, and so it has a very large student population. It's not unusual for kids to be walking the streets in large groups at all hours, chanting and making a great deal of noise. Noise levels reach a climax during graduation week, where students go literally crazy celebrating the culmination of their studies. We're talking out-of-control partying for 7 straight nights, large drunken crowds overtaking the streets, concerts on several nights going until 5 or 6 in the morning and reverberating throughout the town, and a full-fledged parade.
So they right there with it all. They in the mix of everything. Wow, look at this. Yeah, I think that would be a big change for me because I'm, Texas boy, living in the country. I don't mind a little music and stuff, but 5 in the morning, or if people heard that 5 in the morning, it would be some complaints in my neighborhood. That's just how, I wouldn't say everybody have a curfew or nothing, but you expect people to be asleep at 2-3 o'clock. If somebody else, they probably just getting home or something by themselves or something like that.
To boot.
That's about it.
So what do? We move to the area right before that happens. Making matters worse, the French doors in our room would not seal tightly. You see, they came off the hinges the day we got there and never got fixed.
Wow.
So not only that we could not control the temperature during the night, we also could not reduce the amount of noise.
It's 2 o'clock in the morning.
Oh my goodness. They loud.
Add to this that this is also a tourist.
Was it like a club or something beneath them? It's something beneath. Well, I forgot. Usually, you live above like stores and stuff, so they probably turning up below them at it's a restaurant or something below them.
Add to this that this is also a tourist town, and we were entering the busiest season. So at times we'd be flanked by student mayhem on one side and tourist activity on the other. Did I mention we had a restaurant on that other side? A really good one at that, but a bit of an inconvenience as a resident right next door. I know, I sound old, but you know what? I am. When you're in your 50s, you just don't care about noise anymore. That was something I cared about when I was in a rock band. Not now, not anymore.
He does have a point, I know you may think because I've realized that too. I'm not old, he's half my age, but the thing is when you get older, you realize like, hey, I don't do those certain things no more. I'm not accustomed to all that noise. I don't need it no more. You want some peace and quiet as you get older. Hey, you do.
And yeah, sometimes I like to get loud and you might say obnoxious, especially when I drink a little too much. So I do recognize that when you're in the action, it's great. The problem is when you're not in the action and don't give a damn for it.
That's
I
it.
mentioned apartment issues earlier, and there were many.
Oh my.
Things were either not functional when we got the keys, or would easily break on us. And getting someone over to fix anything was like pulling teeth.
Hey, sorry for pausing again so quick. When we first moved into our first apartment, and I know I'm just moving here locally where I live. I kid you not. We lived in an apartment. Living in apartments is different. It's something wrong time after time. I remember our first time living in an apartment. We had I guess our tub had broke. Like the thing to make it, go from the shower, it broke. It took them 6 months to come fix that, and all they had to do was put a little piece on there. It took them 6 months. There's always a problem. When you stay in an apartment, there's always some problem. It sucks, and that just speaking locally to come, so it's horrible.
We had several people come over repeatedly to assess problems, only to return each time a week later to fix one thing, while meantime, 2 new things would surface that would require further assessment, waiting another week, and so on in a seemingly endless
That's a nice
loop.
apartment.
Take all these conditions, to name a few, and except for a few positives, Coimbra became far from an ideal place to settle into long term.
In search of a good match.
So okay, realistically, we knew we weren't going to end up living in Coimbra. And in spite of that bad taste in our mouth, we kept our focus and embarked on exploring other parts of the country, as originally planned. The first order of business was to head north and explore spots 20 to 30 minutes outside of Porto, our preferred geographical
Porto.
area. We looked at a number of homes, always assessing against a few key desired factors. Was it a well-designed and comfortable home? Was there good access to grocery stores and local parks and everything one needs for everyday living? Was it near the coast, or at least not too far from it? Were there enough good local restaurants to enjoy without the need to go into Porto all the time? Bottom line, did it truly feel like home overall? We only really clicked with a beautiful property in Vila do Conde, but I was
Vila
not
do
thrilled with
Conde.
the town. Something energetically about the immediate area did not jibe for me. To this day though, Cecilia would literally lift that home up if she could and plop it somewhere in an ideal
It
location.
does look nice.
That's how much she fell in love with it. So less than a month later, off we were in the opposite direction, to visit Sintra and its surrounding areas, based on a feeling my wife got to look there again. But once again, something was always off. Either the design of the place itself,
Interesting design.
or the location with respect to access to things, or property prices, or some combination of those. Ulgueira in particular caught our attention, an absolutely gorgeous
Nice
area
view.
that was beyond our price range and that felt isolated as well. Lots of lovely towns nearby, but the main action seemed to be farther south in Cashapp.
I ain't gonna lie, it looked very peaceful and quiet out here. As he mentioned, grocery store, accessibility to different things. That might take a while, but it looked nice and peaceful.
Which was overflowing with tourism, a complete
Pizza.
turnoff. We are not easy to please, I'll be the first one to say it. And so, after our run in the south, we left the area thinking, are we not doing this right? Are we not looking in the right places? Does Portugal ultimately not have what we want? I mean, wherever we went, there was this internal, nagging feeling of things not clicking, of not belonging. Hard to explain, but it all harked back to Portland, where we felt like fish out of water in so many ways. So, as we prefer to do these days, we went back to square one and chose to trust that feeling, that inner voice telling us not to settle and to keep exploring.
Back to exploring.
We
does
realized
take a
after a
minute.
certain amount of struggle that this is all about exploring after all, looking for answers until we find what fits what we want, accepting in the mix that things will be messy at times and that there will be many challenges along the way. If we were to settle in any way, that would defeat the whole purpose of leaving the US on this quest to redefine our lives,
That's
to
true.
design our future the way we want it to be. And it's so important to remember too that the search itself has so much value. It keeps you alive and engaged, discovering things as you go through connected experiences, if you allow those to happen. The way I like to word it, it's about the journey as much as the destination.
Yep, that's true.
Each place has something unique to offer, and I'm learning to immerse myself in each location.
I remember that quote. It's the journey that teaches you a lot. That teaches you more about the destination. It's the journey that teaches you more about the destination. Because throughout, the process of getting there it just teaches you, and It helps you appreciate once you make that stop, like, dang, was it worth it? And like he said, you know, he didn't want to start from square one and just look back at Portland and like, man, did we make the right decision? But throughout all this process, throughout this journey, now you can look back and say, you know what? We had some ups, we had some downs. And some of the time, sometimes those downs, it was a little bit too much. But in the end, once you make it to that destination, like, it was worth it. It was worth it. You know, going through all this, now we know. Now we know. Now we can probably help somebody. You know, that's why the journey is so important. Because now somebody else may be watching this and like, I want to make that move. So shout out to
Each
those that
place
help.
has something unique to offer, and I'm learning to immerse myself in each location so I can walk away with a whole variety of memories that will stay with me for a long time. In the process,
So
I get to
he's their
spend time
son?
with my honey, thankful that I have such an incredible life partner, and sharing special moments together as we search for that ideal place to make a new nest in. The undeniable fact is that we will resettle someday and establish a new boring. The challenge then will be to find ways to shake things up and keep life exciting. As our date to head back to the US to process our visas fast approached, we had more questions than answers. Where should we explore when we return to Portugal? Where will we actually end up? Is there a spot that will fulfill enough of our requirements for us to settle in and live there
nice.
long term? The future was clear as mud.
To be continued. Man, I wonder if they did a part 2 already. This was good. This was good. I liked it. This was real.
So what's going on, Josh?
I didn't mask at the mall 3 days
Because
in a row.
nobody does.
And I thought it was
Dang.
allergies, and then a cold, and then it became this nasty, fatiguing thing. It's obvious. I tested positive. And now my throat, besides the fatigue, it's the throat hurts. Oh my God, it's swallowing as hell.
So we're trapped in this gorgeous apartment.
So we can't get shit done, can't go anywhere.
We
Dang.
cannot explore. We're having trouble with tech connection of Amazon and getting a phone and
Booking an appointment in San
internet
Francisco.
to get the visa going.
Yeah, which their site is a living hell. So, yeah,
Oh,
few
man.
complaints.
That's the worst.
But not too
ever.
bad.
But I wouldn't have it any other way.
Give me a big smile. Big smile.
Keeping a positive attitude. That's good. I ain't gonna lie. Hey, getting sick, being down, that's the game changer right there. But yeah, beneath the surface, this was good. I like the way they did this video. This was good. It was real. Really showed us some stuff right here. But yeah, never confuse being a tourist with being a resident. That's so true. That's so true. Because I know with my experience coming, I mean, I feel like the first time it's going to be touristy. I know a lot. I actually know a lot. So that's going to make the difference of what I know. But like you said, this was real. This was good. And we got to really see it. You know, I see some great videos all the time about different countries in Europe. And it's so appealing to the point where it draw you in. But just imagine me just being a visitor versus me being a resident. Two totally different things. Because I ain't got to stress about nothing but getting there, you know, moving, you know. It's no stress at all. But it's a lot of stress when you're trying to be a resident. You got to find a home. Yeah. So I can understand. And then, like I said, and that final message of being sick. Oh, my God. I'm the type of person, if I'm really down, it's probably once a year. But when I'm down, it takes it like you have no energy. You can't do nothing, which sucks because you have to get stuff done. But beneath the surface, this was great. Definitely going to check out more. Hopefully, I think I got to get them on the podcast. That would be great because this was really good. This was really good. And we was in Portugal. Shout out Portugal. Because I've been meaning to do a video about Portugal and boom, bam, I come across this one. So Coimbra, it is beautiful there. I checked out videos. It is beautiful. But glad I got to check this out, guys. That's all I have. Y'all make sure y'all hit that subscribe button. Send down those recommendations. Y'all be blessed, be the best, and be you. I'm out.